A guy that I do want on the field for my team, and hopefully he stays on the field going into next year, though. Myles Garrett, Brad mentioned him. So yesterday he got a sack against Joe Burrow, 100.5 career sacks, youngest player in NFL history to reach 100-plus sacks. He tied Hall of Famer Bruce Smith for the fourth fastest to do it in 115 games. A couple other notes. Myles Garrett, like I keep saying this year, he's having a very nice season. We're lucky to have this guy. I mean, he's the first Cleveland Brown to ever reach the 100-sack milestone, just the second player ever to have at least 12 sacks in 5 consecutive seasons. The only other player to do that is another Hall of Famer, Lawrence Taylor. You might have heard of LT. He's currently tied for the second most sacks in the league with 12, and he's also the only active player to have 10-plus sacks in the last 7 consecutive seasons. He's tearing it up.
He's one of one future Hall of Famer, and I'm just worried that if he stays in Cleveland, he's the defensive Joe Thomas for us.
Yeah.
Where, you know what I mean? He's going to be a first ballot unanimous Hall of Famer, and he never has anything to show for it in terms of wins for the football team. And it just sucks because it feels like we wasted Joe Thomas, and now we're wasting Myles Garrett. And we wasted prime Nick Chubb, and it's just I feel bad for some of these guys because guys like Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett, like Myles Garrett didn't have to sign an extension here. You know, he could have went somewhere else and played, and he didn't have to put roots in Cleveland and go become a minority owner of the Cavs and go to Cavs games and just be like happy to be in Cleveland. And we just keep letting him down. It's one of those things where I guess I want to pose a question to you and to the chat. Like, if Myles Garrett goes into meetings with the coaches and stuff like that after the season, and he doesn't like what they say, and he says, "Okay, I'd like it if you trade me," then are you guys mad at him? Or like, if Myles Garrett is not back on this team next year because of his own asking, where do we stand on that? Because I don't blame the guy at all.
No, man, I've been posting this stuff about Myles ever since, and we'll talk about it now. We'll shift into that conversation about the comments he made to the media last week. I think it was on Friday, and been posting about it, talking to people about it on social media and fans and stuff like that. And the vast majority of people are on your side of things saying, I don't blame the guy if he wants out of here. Like, and if he goes somewhere else, I'll root for him on that team because I want to see him succeed. I want to see him win. He deserves it. I mean, he is, like you said, one of one. He's a hell of a amazing player, and he's being squandered on a defensive line that said, hey, guess what? We're going to trade the only other pass rusher that we have to get after the quarterback. We're going to trade him away, and now you're all alone, and he's still making things happen. And I don't think enough people give enough credit to Myles for what he's able to overcome when the offense only has to account for him. And he's still making an impact the way he is. It's incredible.
I guess the next question I'll pose then to you is, even if he doesn't ask, would you consider trading him?
Okay, so where I'm at right now on December 23rd, getting ready for Christmas, no. If he wants to be here, I still want him here. I don't think that we spent the number 1 overall pick on this guy. Sure, we could get a couple first round picks plus maybe a couple other things, for him or whatever. Are we going to get a Myles Garrett with any of those picks? Do you trust the Browns to get a Myles Garrett again with any of those picks? They're not going to be number 1 overall, most likely. I would, as long as the team does have like some sort of legitimate plan to be competitive next year, I still want him on the roster. He's just fun to watch. It's great to see a guy like this, on our team in a Browns uniform, but we can kind of talk about some of these comments too that he said, but what about you? Would you trade him?
It's one of those things where you don't want to get a bad look as an organization. So if he says he wants to be here and he's given so much to the team, like, you don't want to do him dirty. You especially don't want to trade him to some bum ass franchise. You know what I mean? Like, don't trade him to the Panthers or something like that. But I will say, like you said, if we could get a bunch of picks for him and stuff, but are you going to get a Myles Garrett? And the only thing I would say and play devil's advocate to that is having Myles Garrett doesn't translate to wins on the football field right now. We have Myles Garrett right now. He's having a very good season. We have 3 wins. So if it just depends on where the picks would be, what players. By no means could you ever even entertain the thought of trading Myles Garrett without knowing it's a king's ransom you want. I'm talking the Hall of Halls.
Yeah.
To whatever team says they want him. But I think you would at least have to entertain the idea because, like I said, right now you have prime Myles Garrett and you have 3 wins. And at the end of this year, you will have 2 seasons out of your last 3 that you were bad, very bad. So do you think that you can get good value for him that'll make this turnaround quicker?
Yeah.
I think it all depends too. Is the front office and is Stefanski coming back? If Kevin and AB come back, that tells me the team thinks this isn't a full-on rebuild and they could turn it around quickly. If those guys get fired, that's telling me they think this is a tear-down rebuild.
Yeah.
And if it's a tear-down rebuild, then I think you trade them. And I don't want to say that, but I think you trade them. If Kevin and AB are coming back, then I think you keep them.
See, the thing is, I know what these NFL teams do. They want to build their core. They want to have quarterback, a wide receiver 1, a left tackle, edge rusher 1, and cornerback 1. Those are like the main, the core pieces. And then you got your other guys, like Delpit at safety and JOK and all that kind of stuff. The problem with the Browns, I know you say, we got Myles Garrett and we still only have 3 wins. We have no quarterback. And I'm not sure that any team like the 49ers without a quarterback, doesn't matter. They have Nick Bosa. They're not going to win a ton of games. I mean, same with the Lions. Like if they don't have good quarterback play, Aiden Hutchinson's not going to do much. Same for the Steelers. Like if your offense blows, I mean, yeah, you got TJ Watt, but what are you really going to do? I think that the Browns can go on a 3-win season with guys like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, but I don't think there's any chance they can have a 12-win season without them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I 100% think they could have a 12-win season without him if they had a quarterback that could put up points and score football and not turn the ball over 10 times. There's a reason why quarterback's the most positioned football, not edge rusher. Yeah. If you could have 2 very solid edge rushers and a Pro Bowl quarterback, I take that all day over having an elite edge rusher and a bum at quarterback. So having Myles Garrett, if you think by trading Myles Garrett that helps ensure that you get your quarterback, then you have to make that trade-off. Because the quarterback, you just proved my point, the quarterback is more important than the edge rusher, which is why I'm saying it doesn't translate to wins. Unless you are TJ Watt, because he had absolute trash quarterback play since Big Ben left and they made the playoffs and never had a losing season. So, having a premier edge rusher, I mean, the Raiders have Max Crosby. They don't have any wins. You know what I mean? The Lions had Aiden Hutchinson before they got Goff. Don't have any wins. So, yes, it's great having Myles Garrett, but you can lose a whole lot of games with a Myles Garrett and no quarterback, and you could win a whole lot of games with a Goff and not Myles Garrett.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm just saying, like, you need more than just, like, it's not just the edge rusher will win you a game. That's just not how it works. Like, football is the ultimate team sport. We know that. It takes everybody.
Which is why I'm saying his value's not there.
Oh, that's fine. I'm just saying
you're essentially proving my point.
Well, if you want to trade him for multiple firsts to use all those firsts to go get a quarterback and it doesn't work out, now you've used 3 to 5 first-round picks and Myles Garrett on quarterbacks that have not worked out. I don't know, man.
Then we're in the same spot we are right now, a losing franchise. What's the difference?
Yeah, well, like I said, today's December 23rd, and today I would not trade him unless he asks for it. Now, maybe that changes over the offseason. I don't know, but right now that's where I'm at.
It all depends. Like I said, it depends. If Kevin and AB are back, that tells me it's a quicker turnaround. They think it's a quicker turnaround. And then if you think it's a quick turnaround, then you don't trade him.
Right.
If they're getting rid of the front office and the coach and they're going to bring a new coach, new staff, and turn over the roster, then you trade him to help turn over the roster faster.
Yeah. Well, and that's what he said, essentially, is if this is like we're 3 years out from being competitive, I don't want to be here, is essentially what he said. Now I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say I don't want to be here, but he basically said, if it's like 2-3 years out till we're actually looking to be competitive, then I need to go somewhere where I can win and play meaningful football in January and February. And I mean, did you watch his comments? Because I was going to ask you about.
I read some of them, but I didn't watch it.
Okay, so let me think here. He said they asked him, do they have to show you that they have a sound plan going forward, that you want to know, like, what are we doing quarterback? How are we going to get out there and contend again next season? And Myles said, absolutely. As uncertain as it is from the outside looking in, it's uncertain for us as well. So if DTR is the solution or someone else, it's got to be drawn out. There's got to be a plan of action and just got to know where things are going. So to me, I don't think even inside the building, the players feel like the Browns have any sort of answer at quarterback. Obviously, all confidence has gone into Deshaun Watson. Like you said earlier in the show, you can't bring him back next year. At least you can't put him back out on the field.
No, like we said, he's most likely going to be on the roster, which we can kind of use as a segue into the last topic here, but you can't trot him back out there.
The last thing real quick on these Myles comments, there's just a couple other things that he said. I wanted to do a show about this over the weekend, but the holiday stuff is just, there's too much stuff going on. But he was asked more about the team and everything, about whether or not if he would ask for a trade or anything. He said, what we have to do at the end of the day is what's best for us. So if we have that alignment where this is something that is still possible in the near future, winning, going deep in the playoffs, putting a great defense out there, time of possession, running game offense, getting all the guys back. And I think that would really keep my mind at rest, keep me settled, and not just me. A lot of the guys on the defense, the D-line, around the team, but we have to continue to take strides forward, not just as players, but from top down. I mean, I feel like he put the team on blast and basically said, you guys need to figure your shit out. And to me, he really called out the offense here. He said, we need to get back to the run game, time of possession, like we were talking about earlier. Quit putting us on the field so freaking much. We're doing our job. The other side needs to do their job. And I felt like there were underlying shots taken at perhaps Ken Dorsey, perhaps quarterbacks. I don't know, but it just, when the leader of your team, the best player on your team, a future Hall of Famer, feels like he has to come out and say these things, it really makes me concerned about what's going on behind the scenes.
It reminds me of I feel like they do this in the NBA a lot, where like the players will kind of start, even Cavs players would, to get JB Bickerstaff out of here. There's some talk of like this kind of at the end of the season last year. I feel like you said, it's kind of putting pressure on the front office, like, hey, these are the moves we want you guys to make. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think there's a good chance Ken Dorsey will not be back. The season was lost, so there's no point to fire him in the season. But I'd be kind of shocked if he's back. I won't be shocked if Kevin and the other guys are back, but I'd be kind of shocked if Kevin's back, just for all the reasons we've seen, plus, like you just said, all the comments that Myles just made.
Yeah.